Hello, and welcome to Core Basic Training for Providers. We're excited to talk about the basic functions of King County's Department of Community and Human Services' new data tool, the Client Outcomes Reporting Engine, or CORE for short. We want to welcome you to this training, a milestone that has been more than 2 years in the making. DCHS's Performance Measurement and Evaluation, or PME team, has been working diligently to build a new system to meet our data analysis needs, the reporting needs of many providers like you, and the informational needs of the greater community and its stakeholders. I am Carrie Flory, the DCHS Business Readiness Manager and the author of many of your CORE newsletters and many communications. With me today is Jessica Erickson, the DCHS Evaluation Data Manager and the mastermind behind many of our training materials and the actual CORE system itself. Along with nearly 20 of our DCHS peers, many King County Information Technology, or KCIT staff, and nearly a dozen individuals at our contractor, we are finally ready to launch the system for provider reporting. Your input has been valuable along the way, and we thank you for all your feedback and time. 2 quick notes: this training will be recorded and posted online. If you have any questions after this training, please contact your DCHS program manager or evaluator, or email core@kingcounty.gov. As you can see, we have a packed agenda for you today. I will review basic information about CORE and where to find help. Then I'll hand off the presentation to Jessica, who will lead you through the steps to use the system itself. So let's get started. At the end of today's training, you should understand how DCHS created CORE, how it can be used by providers, the functions, capabilities, and limitations of CORE, and the different types of CORE accounts. More specifically, you should know the specific steps necessary to find help, sign in, download reporting templates, view a list of clients, upload your reporting spreadsheet, view dashboards, and where to view and create reports. But first, let's start at the beginning. King County's Council wanted a way to visualize the combined impact of 3 major initiatives, so they passed an ordinance to create a consolidated reporting across Best Starts for Kids, or BSK, the Mental Illness and Drug Dependency Sales Tax, or MID, and the Veterans, Seniors, and Human Services Levy, or VSHSL. This requirement meant that DCHS had to align our data collection and analysis across very different initiatives, program designs, and providers, and thus CORE was born. When creating CORE, we knew there were a few areas of improvement that could be affected. CORE was created for providers to improve provider data quality and improve understanding of client performance outcomes. For DCHS to focus staff on program analysis and continuous improvement, and support transparency and build relationships among DCHS evaluators, DCHS program managers, and providers. And for us to improve the timeliness and sharing of insights to various stakeholders, including King County Council, the public, advisory boards, etc. And for us to better gather and analyze the copious amounts of countywide information to improve our stakeholders' data-driven decision-making. Today's environment expects up-to-date information and analytics to be produced faster and more accurately than decades before. CORE allows us to meet this important need. More than just meeting the need of the county, CORE was designed to support providers. With CORE, providers can meet DCHS contract reporting requirements, but we knew we wanted it to do more. CORE can support providers in improving their own data quality and collection processes and reducing the soon-to-be defunct back-and-forth conversations with DCHS about reporting corrections, like missing or incorrect data. CORE also allows providers to create their own reports to extract specific subsets of client information. And we are really excited that CORE provides a dashboard that can quickly visualize your program's population, demonstrate trends in services, and summarize service impacts. These visualized graphics and reports can then be shared with stakeholders at your agency, or beyond. Perhaps to stimulate a discussion with a program manager about an additional or augmented service, to indicate a needed change in how you collect a specific data element, or to demonstrate the fantastic successes your clients have achieved. These capabilities give providers the ability to make data-driven decisions that better support your clients and our community. A little reminder about CORE. Like all major technology systems, it will take time for CORE to mature. We expect to take your feedback and tweak the system as needed over the next 3 years. This also includes reviewing data elements in the coming year, like race and ethnicity. In the spirit of continuous quality improvement that we urge all our providers to embrace, we too recognize the importance of iterations to support system enhancements. Because the system itself may undergo slight changes, our materials will too. Therefore, our materials will need to be updated and uploaded as needed. When we update materials, you will see alerts about new drafts on the CORE News and Alerts sections. We'll go into this a little bit in the next slides. This means we highly recommend you access versions of final materials directly from the CORE resources page, rather than printing copies or using copies sent through email. This is especially true in the coming months directly following launch. So what materials can you access and where? Currently, the past 2 trainings have been recorded and uploaded to both the CORE for Providers SharePoint and the CORE resources page. The CORE resources page is an online tab within the CORE application itself that Jessica will show you in just a few minutes. Later this week, we will send the presentation, user manual, submission checklist, and cheat sheet, and links to this recording. Again, right now materials are located on the CORE resources page, and until July, the CORE for DCHS SharePoint. The CORE for Providers SharePoint was created as a one-stop shop to assist the transition to CORE prior to the system's official launch. It contains transition documents as well as final training materials. The CORE resources page is live now, contains final training materials, and will be updated monthly. Because the CORE resources page will be the official repository of the materials, the CORE for Providers SharePoint will be retired in July. But don't worry, in addition to these fabulous tools, you'll have all of us to help you. Your CORE administrators, Glenn Beckman and Jessica Erickson, will be available to answer your questions at core@kingcounty.gov and helps problem solve any account coordinator issues. Your PME evaluators are standing by, ready to answer questions about your performance measurement plans, spreadsheets, data elements and validation errors, dashboards, and reports. And as always, your program managers are available for program and contract questions and general CORE inquiries. Since there's so many of us, let's talk about CORE's 3 main user groups. First, we have providers. That's all of you. You'll be split between 2 roles, account coordinators and provider agency workers. Some of you may already have heard about these 2 roles. Then we have DCHS program staff, your friendly program managers and contract monitors, as well as division directors. And then we have the DCHS PME team, which includes CORE administrators and your program evaluators. So what's the difference between each of these user roles? Well, let's talk about the most important ones for you to know, the CORE account coordinator and the provider agency worker. You may recognize this graphic from the CORE newsletter. First, an agency designates at least one CORE account coordinator by completing the account coordinator designation form. This form can be found linked on the CORE landing page. An account coordinator is a designated person or persons within each agency who is responsible for managing additional team members' accounts. They also have access to all scopes of work and client-level data for the agency. A DCHS Core Administrator must receive the Core Account Coordinator designation form in order to create and manage Core Account Coordinator accounts for each provider. The account coordinators are then responsible for creating and managing their additional team members' user accounts for their agency. Those user accounts are called Provider Agency Worker accounts. After creating these accounts, the account coordinator then assigns specific scopes of work to specific people. A provider agency worker is an additional agency staff member whose access is limited to specific scopes of work that are assigned by the account coordinator and the respective client level data. A provider agency worker can only submit reporting spreadsheets for scopes of work that they have been assigned to. If you are a King County employee, Jessica Erickson and Glenn Beckman in DCHS PME are your account coordinators and will set up and manage accounts for your department. So what can providers do in CORE? Well, let's look at what both account coordinators and provider agency workers can do. They have the same functions and abilities, but these abilities will be limited to their scope of work access. For each assigned scope of work, users can submit reporting spreadsheets, view charts and dashboards, create reports, and see client information. To review, account coordinators have access to all client data for their agency, but provider agency workers only have access to the scopes of work to which they are associated or assigned. If a provider agency worker leaves your agency, your account coordinator can deactivate their account and add a new account for their staff replacement. However, if your account coordinator leaves your agency, you must notify DCHS. Only DCHS can deactivate and replace an account coordinator. It is the responsibility of the agency to maintain at all times at least one account coordinator. Again, to replace your account coordinator, your agency must complete the linked form from CORE's landing page and notify DCHS of the need to deactivate the former staff member's account. Now let's talk a little bit about security access. We believe that each agency knows best what security access policies they need and will work best. Each agency knows who on their staff need access to what scopes of work and corresponding client data. This is why we created the account coordinator role. The account coordinator role puts your agency in charge of security for your client's information. As such, DCHS is not endorsing or proposing any particular security rules for agencies. However, we wanted to remind you of some of the rules and policies that might impact your decisions about who can and cannot access client information in CORE. HIPAA, FERPA, and General PII are some rules you may be familiar with. We also recommend common sense security practices for accessing electronic systems. Your agency will know best which apply to you. Now I will pass control to Jessica Erickson, who will walk you through how to access and use CORE.
Okay, something here.
I got it.
Okay.
So you
Okay,
can start
we're gonna start.
anytime.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So now we're going to talk about signing into CORE. In order to sign into CORE, you have to have an account set up for you. As Carrie mentioned, if you are an account coordinator, DCHS staff will set up your account. If you are a provider agency worker, your account coordinator will set up the account for you. If you are a King County employee, your account coordinators will be on the DCHS evaluation team, and they will be creating and managing your accounts. Once your account is set up, you will get an invitation sent to your email. The invite email contains the information you need to log into CORE, and that includes a link or URL to CORE, a username, which is your email address, and a temporary password, which is assigned to you by whoever set up your account. is an example of what the emailed invitation will look like. It will come from a no-reply email called dchscore.donot.reply@kingcounty.gov, and it has a subject line, King County Provider Portal Invite. Highlighted in yellow are the links to CORE, your username, and that temporary password. Once you've received your emailed invitation, you're ready to sign into CORE. When you first sign in, you'll want to verify that your contact information is correct, and then you can change your temporary password to something more secure. So I will demonstrate on screen what signing into CORE looks like. CORE is a web-based application that you can access through any internet browser. On your screen is what the home page of CORE looks like, and to sign in, you will click the Sign In button at the top right-hand corner of the ribbon. When you sign in, you'll want to enter your email address and then the temporary password that was included in your emailed invitation. Also on the screen here are options if you forgot your password or if you need to request a CORE Account Coordinator account. When you sign in, after you approve your contact information is correct, it will take you to this home page. You can always get back to your home page by clicking on this house icon at the top of the ribbon. On the home page will be news and alerts, which will be updated whenever there's new information to share with you about CORE. You will see your scopes of work listed. In this case, with my account, I have multiple scopes of work. You may only see one if there's one for your agency or you're assigned to only one. Also, at the top of this ribbon is the resources page. The resources page will contain frequently asked questions and links to the user manual, as well as some supplemental training materials and links to videos. You will also have access to the most up-to-date version of the Demographics Handbook. In order to change your password or edit your account details, you can click your username and then select Edit Profile. This is the screen you will see when you log in with your contact information for the first time. When you're on this screen, you will want to verify that the information we have on file for you is correct. You can make any changes and then click Update. Once you do that for the first time, CORE will default you to your home page for future logins. This is also where you can change your password. If you click Change Your Password, CORE requires a two-step verification process for resetting your password. So you will want to enter your email address here and click Send Verification Code. This will send a verification code to your email, which you will then use to enter here in the password reset box, confirm the code, and then you will be able to reset your password. You'll want to do that the first time you log in, and then you will also be prompted to change your password every 180 days. And let's return back to our slides and we'll talk about the CORE report submission process. You may remember this image, which was a visual sent out in one of the CORE newsletters, which describes the CORE data submission process. We wanted to spend some time discussing this process more before we give a demonstration of how to submit your data in CORE. CORE accepts client-level information in a standard file format, like a spreadsheet. You will use CORE to submit information via a spreadsheet that is specific to your program or scope of work. Each program's reporting spreadsheet contains a set of data elements that corresponds to the program's reporting requirements as outlined in their performance measurement and evaluation plan. So the first step in this process is to meet, serve, and collect the information from your clients. You'll then put the information into a spreadsheet file format, and there's multiple ways that you can complete the spreadsheet. The first, which I will demonstrate in just a few moments, is to download your reporting template from within CORE. This is a pre-built Excel spreadsheet that has all of your data elements in the right order and with the correct formatting rules applied. You can add clients by directly entering or typing their information onto the template, or you can insert information from another source, such as copying and pasting or inserting data that you exported from your case management system. Alternatively, you don't have to download the reporting template at all. You could create an Excel or CSV file with your specific data elements in the right format and submit that file directly through Core. Whatever method you use to get your client information into a spreadsheet format, you will then submit your data by uploading the Excel or CSV file through Core. Core requires the files to be in a particular format, and it will check any files submitted for errors in real time. If there are any errors or incorrect formatting, Core will not accept the file. An error report will be generated that tells you the fields where an error occurred, and you will have to make those corrections and then resubmit your file. When your file is accepted, you will get a success confirmation message on your screen as well as sent to your email. As soon as your file is accepted, there will be charts and dashboards that summarize your data, which will be updated. And you can also view or create customized reports using the data that you just submitted. So to summarize what the Core report submission process is, you're going to meet and serve your clients, and you'll collect the information from them to report. You can opt to download a reporting template, which you can update with your data each period, or you can create your own file with all of the correct clients, data elements, and formatting. You will submit your reporting spreadsheet through Core. If needed, you'll make any corrections noted in your error report and then resubmit. After the file is successfully uploaded, you can then view updated dashboards and reports, which will reflect the information you just submitted. On screen here, the blue boxes indicate actions that happen outside of Core, and the red boxes represent actions that you're doing from within the Core application itself. So the reporting template that I've been talking about is a pre-built spreadsheet that contains all of your data elements in the Core format, but it will also include your active clients and their saved information. You can download this from Core as an Excel file or a CSV if you do not have Excel. The reporting template is pre-populated with your clients who were active in the program at the end of your last reporting period. Clients who exited the program in the last period, as indicated by an entered exit date, will not be on your reporting template. You will only need to add new clients and update or correct any information for folks who are still enrolled. The first time you use Core, your reporting template will not have any clients in it. It will, however, have your data elements in the correct order and the formatting rules applied. So let's go back into Core to demonstrate how you would download this reporting template and where it lives. So I will cancel my password reset, and then I will return to my home page, and I want to go into one of my scopes of work. And there's a couple of ways that I can navigate to each scope of work. The first is from my home page, by clicking on the title of the scope of work. The second is to click on My Work tab in the ribbon, and this will take you into your scope of work record. If you have multiple scopes of work, you can also switch back and forth between the programs by clicking on this drop-down menu on the screen. So I want to go to my Submissions page, which is where my reporting template lives. On the Submissions tab is where I'll be able to see the next reporting deadline, statistics about previous submissions, and a list of my submissions history. So here is where the reporting deadline is. I have some submission statistics, as well as a list of all of my past spreadsheets and whether they were accepted or failed due to errors. So the template, the reporting template, lives at the top of the Submissions tab, and I will download it by clicking Download under the Action column. Downloading your template will generate your pre-built spreadsheet with your data elements and formatting rules. And I can expect to see this in either Excel or a CSV file that I can open in whatever spreadsheet program I have loaded to my computer. So I will open the template by clicking on this downloaded file. And this is my reporting template. So I can click Enable Editing if I'd like to be able to add information to it. So this template lists and saves information for actively enrolled clients that were on my previous submission. So if a client exited in the past reporting period, they will not appear on this downloaded reporting template. You can use this template as a starting point if you wish, so you can add new clients as new rows in the template, and you can update information for enrolled clients if necessary, such as if they have exited the program or had some additional assessment scores or other case services. An updated template is available for you to download immediately after your submission is accepted in CORE. So this may be helpful to you if you plan to use the template to track your client information as you enroll and serve them. So let's talk about how you actually fill out and complete a reporting spreadsheet for CORE. We'll return to our slides. So your agency can get your data into a reporting spreadsheet using multiple methods. You can export your data into the appropriate format and save the file as an Excel or CSV file, which you then upload to CORE. You could export your data and copy and paste it into your reporting template, which you'll then upload to CORE, or you could hand enter or type your information directly into your reporting template, save that, and upload into CORE. Regardless of what method you use, the information you submit must be in a particular format. If the format of the file you submit does not match the format that CORE is expecting, you will get an error message and the file will not be expected. In your CORE reporting spreadsheet, the columns are the data elements. A data element is a type of information that is part of a data collection plan with a specific definition. The information you submit must be in a worksheet named Data, and I will show you in just a moment what that looks like. The order of the columns matters. Do not change the order of or rename your columns. Information should only be entered in columns that are data elements. If you enter notes or calculations for yourself in other columns or rows outside of your client information, make sure you delete or clear out those cells before you submit your file. The CORE reporting spreadsheets are structured to collect client-level data, which means you will collect and report an individual record for each person your program serves. Each row on the spreadsheet represents a person. This is different from encounter-level data, which collects and reports an individual record for each service encounter or service provided to a client. For instance, encounter-level data may capture information about a single office visit, while client-level data may report how many office visits a client had over the course of a reporting period. Each period, you will add new clients served during that time to your spreadsheet. You will add clients one right after the other. Do not skip or leave blank rows in between clients. So one of the questions we've received is who should be on your reporting spreadsheet? Each reporting spreadsheet should contain clients and cases that were new enrollments that period, as well as clients who are still actively enrolled in the program, meaning they did not have an exit date entered for them in a previous period. Clients who remain enrolled should be on every reporting spreadsheet until they exit, even if you do not have any fields to update or report on them for a particular month. If a client has exited the program, meaning you have entered an exit date for them on previous reporting spreadsheets, do not add that same case and row back onto future reporting spreadsheets. Once a client and case is completed, you should not continue putting their information on your reporting spreadsheets. However, if you have an individual who has exited the program and then later re-enrolls, you will report on this new enrollment. You will enter the client's new enrollment beginning on the reporting spreadsheet for the period that they enrolled in. You should use the new enrollment date and then report all other case information for that case only. We want to capture all of the work you're doing, so we want you to report on this new enrollment. In order to re-enroll and be added as a new row in a reporting spreadsheet, the first case should be complete and marked with an exit date. If you attempt to do this and receive an error when trying to submit your file, please contact your evaluator for further assistance. So, a summary of this re-enrollment process. If a client enrolls, you will enter the enrollment date for them and then report demographics and service information as you normally would. Once that client exits, you will enter an exit date for them. They will cease to be on, you will cease to report on that information because they have exited, and they will not be on future reporting spreadsheets. If that same individual re-enrolls in your program, you will then add them as a new row to your reporting spreadsheets. You'll use the same agency client ID for that individual. You will enter a new enrollment date, and then you will report their demographics and new services or case information. Other formatting things to be aware of. If you are using the reporting template, it comes with built-in validation rules to guide your hand entry of information. If you enter something in a cell that does not meet the formatting rules, you will get an immediate error message within Excel. Some data elements require response, which means that they must have something entered in them and cannot be blank. For many of these fields, there is an unknown or not applicable option you can select from if you do not have that information. Please refer to your program's specific data dictionary to know exactly how to handle unknown situations for each data element. Many data elements have a predefined list of responses from which you must select. If a cell has a drop-down list applied, you will see an arrow in the lower right-hand corner of the cell when you select it. To complete these cells, you must select the value from the list or type text that is the exact same response. Fields that are dates must be in a numeric date format, so month, month, day, day, 4-digit year. So let's quickly walk through the reporting template in Excel to highlight a few of these points. So I'm back in my reporting template, and in the lower left-hand corner is what this worksheet tab or worksheet name is. So in the template, it is named data, and you will want to keep that. If you create your own spreadsheet, you will want to make sure to name the worksheet data. Each column will represent a different data element, and each row represents a person. Note how each row here is filled out consecutively. There's no blank rows in between clients. All of the required data elements are completed. If needed, you would select unknown or not applicable. If you use the template, you can hover over the column header to read instructions on how to complete each field. So I can hover over date of birth, and I see some instructions on how to complete it, and a message that tells me this field is required and cannot be left blank. If you use the template and enter a value in a cell that does not match the formatting, you will get an error message. For example, if I attempt to enter something in a field that has a date validation, such as unknown, I will get an error message, and this is because I entered something that does not match this template's formatting rules. So let's return to our slides and we will talk some more about actually submitting the spreadsheet files in Core. When you have your updated spreadsheet prepared, you will submit it through Core by uploading your file. Core will check the submission for errors in real time and will reject your submission if the data is incorrectly formatted. You will then make the corrections and resubmit as many times as it takes to have the file be accepted. You can only successfully submit your file once each period. So this means that you will want to wait until you have all of your data ready before you attempt to submit. The reporting deadline and rules around weekends and holidays is set forth in your contract. For most of you, this will be the 15th of the month, but the best place to confirm that is to contact your program manager. As the system is validating the format in real time, it may take several minutes to process. You can close your windows, you can walk away from your computer. The file will continue processing even if you've left the page or sign out of Core. You will get a success notification on the screen and an email confirmation if your file is successfully uploaded, or you will get an error report listed on the screen and sent to your email if there were formatting errors with your file. If you get an error report, it means that your file was not accepted. You will need to make the revisions and resubmit. This real-time validation of your file is a new concept. Previously, the validation process was a back and forth process between email and phone with you and your program manager and evaluator, and it could take a period of several weeks. Now, the validation will happen immediately and in real time. You can only successfully submit your file once each period. So this means that you will want to wait until you have all of your information ready before you attempt to submit. If you need to modify or correct data for a client who is still in your program, you can make that change directly in your reporting spreadsheet in the next submission. The updated or changed information you report will be saved. You cannot add missing service information or modify information for a file that you have already successfully submitted. If you submit your file and realize that you have made an error about a client who has exited the program, meaning you have reported an exit date for them, you cannot make your corrections on your next submission because you do not continue to report on previously exited clients. If you realize you have made an error in this information, contact your program manager to discuss if this is an error that needs to be corrected or if it is within the expected margin of error. If there are major errors with a file that you submitted which was accepted, the only way to correct that is for DCHS to roll back the file, and then you would resubmit the entire reporting spreadsheet. A conversation with your program manager will help everyone collectively decide if that is appropriate. So let's transition back into Core, and I will demonstrate how we submit a sample reporting spreadsheet so we can see this in action. So when I am in Core, where I want to go to my Submissions tab in order to submit my reporting spreadsheet. So on the Submissions tab, you will want to make sure you're in the correct scope of work and program, and then you will click Submit Spreadsheet. You will upload your spreadsheet by clicking Choose File. A File Explorer window will be launched, and you can select the location of your saved spreadsheet. You can write an optional message to your program manager if you wish, and also at the bottom of the page is a message to let you know that the reporting spreadsheet will be validated upon upload and also some estimated import times. This means that the more records or rows of data that your file has, the longer your validation time may be. And I will click Submit. And then I am taken to a page that tells me the data submission is in process. It may take a few moments, and as I had mentioned, you can close this page, you can walk away. Core is continuing to process your file even if you leave the page. The amount of time this takes can vary depending on the amount of information you have in your file and your internet connection. So the file that I uploaded had some errors in it, and this is an example of what a submission error report looks like. So this report tells me which row and column the error appears in. If there are multiple rows that have the same error, the rows are listed together, such as for this first one where it says rows 2 through 40. The error message is designed to tell you where the error occurred and what that field should look like. Unfortunately, the message does not tell you exactly why you got an error, but it gives you an indication of what the appropriate format for that field is. If you have an error that comes from some data elements have validation rules that are dependent on the response to another data element. When this occurs, your error report will tell you the row that the error occurred in, but does not tell you exactly which column. For example, here I see an error occurred in row 23, and I would look to the error message to tell me exactly which data elements are affected. So I can see that I have an error in row 23 relating to intellectual disability and the delay or disability data elements. You may also get an error message if you have a client who Core is expecting to be on your reporting spreadsheet and they are not there. This is indicated by an error in row 0 and a message that tells me agency client ID 1 is missing from the upload. The exact client ID will vary depending on which client this is. And this is because I mentioned that Core is expecting you to continue reporting on clients who are actively served and enrolled in your program each period until they exit. This submissions error report will also be sent to my email. And if I am in my submissions page, I can also find previous copies of error reports here in my error details. So now, I mentioned you'll want to make the corrections and resubmit your file. So I'm going to resubmit a file that is correct, and I will go through the same process. So I will choose my file, and I will upload the file with my revisions and click Submit. You may notice that the name of the file itself does not seem to matter. So you can name your file anything. You do not have to continue naming it with your contract number, exhibit number, reporting period, although that may continue to work for you as a way of record keeping. So Core will continue to validate this file that I have uploaded. And if my file is accepted, I will get a success confirmation on screen and also sent to my email. As I said, it can take a few moments for this to process. But again, you do not have to stay on the screen. You can continue to move forward. Okay, and this is an example of what that success confirmation looks like. It will say upload complete without errors. And again, I will get the same message sent to my email. So I want to return to the slides to talk a little bit about performance dashboards that are available for you in CORE. So one of the exciting things about CORE is that it gives us a way to quickly share back and visualize the information you report. Your information will be transformed into visuals such as pie charts and bar graphs that can help you understand the population you serve and the impact of your services. Your DCHS program manager will see the same visuals and reports as you, so you can collaborate together to explore trends. So let's look at what those performance dashboards look like in CORE. So I'm going to go back to my scope of work and I will go to my work tab. And the first tab in a scope of work is this performance dashboard. And here I see a collection of charts that are relating to the data elements that I report on my spreadsheet. The exact charts that appear will vary depending on your program and your performance measurement and evaluation plan. Generally, the demographic charts will come first and will show a count for one period at a time. So for example, I can see a sum of my results for clients based on gender identity for the fourth quarter of 2019. You may also have some non-demographic data elements that will be displayed in these kinds of charts. The performance measure charts will often come next. So performance measures are what we track to measure project activities to improve quality and/or accountability. So based on the results-based accountability framework, performance measures often include measures of how much service is being provided, measures of how well a service is being provided, and measures of who is better off due to those services. The performance measure charts include these how much, how well, and better off labels to demonstrate which type of measure a chart represents. Your program may also have lots more performance measures or participate in evaluation efforts that happen outside of CORE. So CORE's performance measures will only be the measures that are calculated based on the data elements that you report. And you'll continue having ongoing conversations as you start using CORE and see these dashboards if there's additional performance measures you feel would best capture your services that you would like to see displayed here. And let's return back into CORE or back into our slides, and we'll talk about a client list that is available to you as a resource. So within CORE, you can pull up a complete client roster of individuals associated to your scope of work. If you have multiple scopes of work for your agency, I do want to point out that this client list is only within one scope of work at a time and is not for your entire agency. This client list will also show cumulative clients served. So it will include clients from the first time you report in CORE for that scope of work all the way through the life of that scope of work. So this could potentially be multiple years eventually. This client list you can filter by enrollment status, so whether someone is enrolled or exited, and you can currently sort by agency client ID, enrollment status, and the enrollment date and exit dates. Coming soon in the future are some additions to this client list which will expand the filter capabilities that you have, as well as add some additional sorting options, such as being able to sort by client name. So let me demonstrate in CORE for you where this client list lives. So within CORE and within a scope of work, the client list lives on this client tab. So this is a list of individuals associated to the scope of work. So I can currently filter by my enrollment status, and then I can sort by agency client ID, enrollment date, enrollment status, and exit date if a client has exited the program. As I mentioned, there will be some additional filtering and searching features coming soon, as well as some expanded abilities to sort based on any of these columns. And let's talk about reports. So Core offers a reports tool that has a strong querying engine that lets you explore your data further. There are two types of reports in Core. There are standard reports and custom reports. Standard reports are reports that your DCHS evaluators will build and share with you. These reports are not available yet, but they will be coming soon. You will be able to build your own custom reports yourself. You can use the reports tool to set filters that limit the information displayed, and you can modify the columns or data elements that will display in your report. You can save the report to be able to use in the future or to share with others. When you submit new reporting spreadsheets, the structure of your saved reports will remain, but the client information it pulls in will update accordingly. Reports is a very powerful query tool that may take some practice if you have never used anything like it. You do not have to use a reporting tool in order to be able to successfully submit your data to Core or to interact with your performance dashboards. Additional trainings will be held after June to explain reports further and talk about how you can use it in your work. Custom reports are reports about your data that you can create, modify, and save, and you can do that right now. Standard reports are these reports that will be coming soon, and those are reports that your evaluators will build and share with you. So I'm going to walk you through the reports tool in Core. As I mentioned, for those of you who have never used something like this, it may look unfamiliar. And it may also take some time to get used to. So please don't worry if this doesn't make complete sense yet. We will continue conversations throughout 2020 on how to use this tool. And if you feel it's something that you are interested in using and learning more about now, please contact your evaluator. So let me demonstrate in Core how you would build a brief report and where this report tool lives. So within a scope of work, you can go to your Reports tab. And you will scroll down to find these querying tools. So to start creating a report, you would click New Report, and then you will click Display Filter Criteria. This filter criteria builder will then display below. So using and/or logic, you can create different filter rules, which will guide which of your data that you've submitted into Core previously will pull into your report. So if I set multiple criteria, the AND clause means that all of the criteria must be met for a record to display. If I use the OR clause, it means that at least one of the criteria is true, and then that record would display. So to add additional criteria, I would want to click on the Add Rule, and then I will select my data element. Data elements are listed here in alphabetical order. Currently, you will see additional data elements that are not on your reporting spreadsheet. So you will want to scroll through and find the data element that you would like to reference for your report. In my report here, I would like to pull up a list of clients that have a gender identity response of female. So I will scroll down and find gender identity. And then I want to select my logic function, which is this middle box. And I have some different options, so I can select, for example, gender identity equals something or does not equal something. In this case, I said I want to select gender identity with a response of female, so I will select equal and type in female. You do not need to put in quotes. You can enter that response directly. And you'll click Generate Report. So this now filters my information based on the criteria that I set of gender identity equals female. What these rows are displaying are cases that are submitted each period about a client. So you are not seeing who these rows represent because we have hidden any confidential information from defaulting to your reports screen. So you may want to add columns to give you a little bit more information on what this report is representing. So to add columns, you would click Select Columns, and then you will select the fields that you would like to have added to your report. So I, for example, might want to see the agency client ID, and then I may also want to see the gender identity. So I can just continue typing in columns that I would like added to my report. You can save your report by clicking Save and titling it. And this allows me to save the structure of my report. So in the future, I can come back into my Reports tab and rerun the same report with updated information. I can click Download if I would like to download my report in a CSV file. And this allows me to save, share my report with somebody who is not in CORE, or if I have some additional data analysis that I would like to do within my spreadsheet program, I can do so. I do want to point out that while you can download reports as a CSV file, you are not able to download your client list at this time as a CSV file. So you can download reports and share those outside of CORE, and you cannot download your client list to be able to share outside of CORE. So this concludes our demonstration and training on CORE. Let's talk about some next steps. Be on the lookout for your CORE invitation email with your login information. If you have received your invitation email, please sign in so we can make sure you're able to access CORE when you need it to report. If you're an account coordinator, please try to set up other accounts that your agency may need so we can help support you if you have questions about that process. You will continue collecting your client information in the new CORE format. And the first period that you will be submitting data in this new CORE format is beginning at February 1st. You can begin submitting data on February 1st, and the deadline is February 15th. So you want to, as we said, you'll want to make sure you have all of your information updated before you submit the file. But if you can start submitting before the 15th, then that will help you work through if you do receive any of these error messages and start working through, because we know this is a new process and we anticipate there being a lot of questions and as we just start trying things. So if you have questions on any of these error messages that you get, you can reach out to your evaluator or core at kingcounty.gov, and we can help you troubleshoot those. Your evaluators may have recently sent you your core reporting spreadsheet with clients who remained enrolled in your program at the end of 2019. They are sending you these right now via a secure email. This is a one-time action to support your use of core for the first time and help you see what your client information looks like in the core format. For future reporting periods, you will be able to download this kind of template from core itself. But you should be on the lookout, if you have not gotten one already, for an email from your evaluators with your 2019 data in the core format. Any questions that you have about how you complete your reporting spreadsheet, what particular data elements mean for your program, or if you have issues uploading your file, please contact your evaluator or core at kingcounty.gov. And I want to highlight some key dates here. Your first submission is due February 15th. You can begin uploading your January data starting February 1st, and it is due February 15th. Coming in June or July are advanced trainings to further explore the report capabilities in core. And that concludes our webinar today. So any questions, you can send them to core at kingcounty.gov. And thank you for being with us today.